What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Patrick here, moving on to the next video. So we have to solve both of these expressions here. And notice it's the same expression, but this one here is an equation, while this one here, it's an inequality. So notice we have this absolute value here. I'm going to start with the equation. First thing I like to do is I like to try to get the absolute value by itself on one side. So to do that, I'm going to bring the 5 over, so we'll have 6 minus 5 on that right side, which would just be 1. And then to get this 4 on the other side, I could divide both sides by 4. So we would end up with 2 minus 5x, the absolute value of 2 minus 5x, is equal to 1 over 4. Right? So this and this are the exact same thing. And then from here, what you want to do is with this absolute value, you want to break it down into two cases. So either 2 minus 5x can equal 1 over 4, or negative 2 minus 5x can equal 1 over 4. And it doesn't matter where you put this negative. You could put it on the right side as well, make this negative 1 over 4. Right? If you divide both sides by negative 1. Basically, if this 2 minus 5x is equal to 1 over 4, then the absolute value of 1 over 4 is 1 over 4. And then if this 2 minus 5x is also equal to negative 1 over 4, then the absolute value of negative 1 over 4 would be positive 1 over 4. So that's why we're solving for the two cases. And so that negative you could put on the right side as well. Doesn't matter. So from here, what I'm going to do to solve for this x, I'm going to change the 2 to be 8 over 4. Then I'm going to bring the 1 over 4 over. So we'll have minus 1 over 4. Bring the negative 5x over. That would be positive 5x. So this here would end up being 7 over 4 equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5. So that would be like 7 over 4 divided by 5 over 1, which is like 7 over 4 times 1 over 5, which is 7 over 20 right here. Right? So x equals 7 over 20. That is one of the solutions. And then over here, if I distribute this negative inside the bracket, I'll have negative 2 plus 5x equals 1 over 4. Then the negative 2 I'll bring over. So I'll have 1 over 4 plus 8 over 4, which is the 2. We'll have 9 over 4 divided by 5. We'll have 9 over 20. So those are the two solutions to this equation here. And you could check it. If you plugged in 7 over 20, whether up here or over here, you'd end up getting positive 1 over 4, the absolute value of positive 1 over 4. If you plug in 9 over 20 here, you'd end up getting negative 1 over 4. And the absolute value of negative 1 over 4 would be positive 1 over 4. So those are the two solutions. Now for this one, notice it's an inequality, but the same sort of thing applies. We want to get to this point. So notice it would be the exact same process. Bring the 5 over, and then divide both sides by 4. And because we're dividing by a positive, we don't have to worry about flipping that inequality sign. So we would end up having the absolute value of 2 minus 5x is less than 1 over 4, like that. So exact same here, it's just this would be a less than sign. And then this, you want to split into two cases as well. So you'd have this, and you would have that right there. So same thing, I'm going to bring this over, bring this over. We would basically end up, it would be the same, exact same algebra. So we would have 7 over 4 is less than 5x. Divide both sides by 5. So we would end up with x being greater than 7 over 20. So that would be the first part of the solution. And then over here, we would end up with negative 2 plus 5x is less than 1 over 4. Bring this over, so we'll have 5x is less than, 9 over 4, like that. Divide both sides by 5. X would be less than 9 over 20. So notice that x has to be greater than 7 over 20, but less than 9 over 20. And so if we combine these into one solution, we would end up with that right there, right? And we can also say 7 over 20, 9 over 20 in that notation. X is an element from that, and it would be circle brackets because it's not inclusive of those endpoints. There was no less than or equal to here. It was just less than, right? So those would be the solution to that inequality. So whether you get an equation or an inequality, that last step is a little bit different, but those endpoints should be the same.